40 miles.
The password for the Wi-Fi?
We're okay. It's safe. We're safe here.
Okay. What did you do?
Everybody quiet. You hear me? Come down.
Hidden in He Never Left First 10 Minutes. A clue that predicts the ending. Missed it? Let's blow your mind. The film begins in a place called Larson Town, which carries a dark legend. Years ago, a string of gruesome murders took place here, committed by a serial killer who vanished without a trace. Despite efforts over the years, no one could identify or catch him. Eventually, the murders stopped, but fear remained. People refer to the killer as Paleface because the few who claimed to have seen him said he wore a mask. The story then shifts to the present day. A girl in one of the houses in Larson Town is shown trying to escape from this very killer. Despite her efforts to get off the bed and flee, Paleface repeatedly stabs her and kills her brutally. The scene cuts, and we're taken several years forward to a girl named Carla, who checks into the same hotel where one of the original murders had taken place. At the reception, she finds no manager, but sees a girl watching TV in a nearby room. Her face isn't visible before Carla can interact. A man wearing a grotesque, blood-flowing mask appears and startles her. He introduces himself as Price, the hotel manager, and explains that the mask was made for Halloween. Carla asks for a room with a view, and he assigns her room number 8, which is located far from the reception. Later, Carla heads to her car on the pretext of getting something and opens the trunk to reveal a man, Gabriel, her husband, who is on the run from the police after a serious incident. Carla is helping him hide, that she sneaks him in her room and asks what he did. Gabriel reveals that he worked under a much younger manager whose constant orders he resented. One day, in a fit of rage, Gabriel fled with the boss's money. When the boss tried to stop him, Gabriel panicked and ran him over with a car, killing him. Although he never intended to murder anyone, the trauma haunts him. Their conversation gets heated. Carla, fearing for their son's custody, lashes out at Gabriel, reminding him that if he keeps losing control, the court will never return their child. We learn that both have criminal histories and have previously lost custody of their son. After their argument, Carla leaves in anger while Gabriel tries calling someone from the bathroom, explaining that he's tired of running it later that night. While trying to sleep, Gabriel hears a woman screaming in the adjacent room, the same woman he saw earlier. He wants to check, but he's afraid of being spotted. Eventually, everything calms down and he lies back down. A while later, someone knocks on his door. Gabriel grabs a gun, ready for danger, but no one enters. The next morning, 2 police officers arrive at Gabriel's former workplace to investigate his case. They speak to a woman who tells them about Gabriel's past employment and the fatal incident with his boss. She confirms that it was unintentional, but still a murder, explaining why Gabriel is so terrified. Carla visits Gabriel, who recounts the strange occurrences from the previous night, the arrival of the girl, her screams, and a man who later approached his room. Carla suspects Gabriel might be hallucinating due to stress, but his insistence raises doubts. Worried, she visits the room next door and speaks to the woman, who appears normal. Carla reassures Gabriel that everything is fine, but he remains convinced that something terrible happened. Their argument escalates, and Carla, fed up, decides to leave. She throws her room key into a trash bin, determined to cut ties with Gabriel, fearing she might get entangled in his troubles again, especially as she hopes to regain custody of her son. Despite her tough decision, Carla breaks down in tears afterward. Back at the hotel, Gabriel sees news reports showing that police are hunting him intensely. That night, he hears sounds again from the adjacent room. While checking, he knocks over a lamp, which catches the attention of Price at the reception. Suspicious, Price grabs a lamp and heads toward Carla's room. Realizing Price might discover he's alone, Gabriel quickly calls Carla. She bluntly says she can no longer help him. Suddenly, a call comes in from reception. Gabriel asks Carla to talk to Price, and she convinces him that the noise was just an accident. She had tripped over the lamp. Price seems satisfied and ends the call, but shortly after, he shows up with a new lamp. Gabriel doesn't want to let him in, but has no choice when Price uses his master key. Gabriel hides behind the door and tries to block Price's entry. But Price already suspects something is off. Gabriel admits he is Carla's ex-husband and is staying in her room. Price pretends to accept the explanation and leaves. At the same time, Gabriel's friend calls, ready to help him escape, but Gabriel misses the call while dealing with Price. The friend waits a while, but eventually leaves in frustration. Elsewhere, the police continue investigating Gabriel and discover Carla's criminal past. They decide to visit her home. That night, Carla hears a knock. Expecting police, she opens the door but finds no one. As she looks around, she senses someone inside the house. She arms herself with a stick and is suddenly confronted by the masked killer, Paleface. To her horror, he shows her photos of Carla and her mother and reveals that he killed her mother, too. He even shows a locket that belonged to her. Then, without mercy, he kills Carla the next morning. When police arrive at Carla's house looking for Gabriel, they find no one, just bloodstains everywhere. The scene shifts to Gabriel, who spent the night waiting for his friend's call. When it finally comes, he pleads to be rescued. He's overjoyed, gets ready. But just then, Paleface appears behind him. Before Gabriel can react, he is knocked unconscious. When Gabriel wakes up, he's tied inside a plastic bag. As he looks around, he sees Price cleaning the room and realizes Price is Paleface. Horrified, Gabriel tries calling Carla, but then hears her ringtone nearby. He turns to see Carla's dead body beside him. As the ringtone continues, Price approaches. Gabriel pretends to be unconscious again. Price drags Carla's body into an underground tunnel. Before he can do the same to Gabriel, another call comes in from Andre, Gabriel's friend, who came to rescue him. Gabriel answers, but Price sees him and charges with a knife. Gabriel pushes Price, causing him to stab himself accidentally and fall into the very pit he dug. Gabriel, bloodied and terrified, escapes. Outside, he sees Andre waiting in a car. But instead of fleeing, Gabriel calls the police. Just then, he hears a woman's voice behind him. It's Price's wife. She reveals that not only was she involved in all the murders, but her son is also part of their twisted killing spree. Gabriel, shocked, asks why they killed Carla. She explains that Carla overheard their last victim's screams and had to be silenced. And before Gabriel can react, their son, also wearing a pale face mask, sneaks up and kills him. The final scenes show the police arriving at the hotel to investigate Carla and Gabriel's disappearance. But surprisingly, the woman manages to cover everything up. Gabriel's body is thrown into the underground tunnel, and her son disappears without a trace. The hidden clue in the first 10 minutes of He Never Left, despite her efforts to get off the bed clipping that briefly flashes on screen. Repeatedly stabs it mentions a string of murders that happened in the same house years ago. Checks into the same almost hotel identical to one of the original murders had taken place. This small detail reveals the killer she finds no manager. He sees a girl watching TV, a supernatural force tied to the house. Her face isn't visible this clue before Carla can interact. The ending isn't a shock. A man wearing a grotesque. The horror was never about who did it, but that it was always going to happen. He introduces himself. If this recap changed your mind about He Never Left, smash like. If it didn't, fight me in the comments. And subscribe. You know you want to.